Have you ever wondered why you keep longing to become a better version of yourself, yet somehow end up stuck in the same place? We often tell ourselves, tomorrow I'll change. Tomorrow I'll start fresh. But the truth is, real change never comes from a single impulsive decision made late at night. The path of self-growth isn't a giant leap from level 1 to level 100. It's a long, challenging journey that demands time, effort, and patience. Sometimes it feels exhausting and even makes us doubt ourselves. Yet, if you truly commit, the outcome can become a turning point that changes your entire life. In today's video, I want to share with you the 6 inevitable stages that anyone must go through on the journey of self-growth. These 6 stages are like a roadmap, helping you see where you are and where you need to go next. And before we dive in, let me introduce you to this channel, Different Thinking, a place where we explore new mindsets and fresh perspectives that can change the way you see yourself and the world. If you find this video valuable, hit that subscribe button to join Different Thinking today. And as a thank you, I've prepared a special gift just for you, a free ebook titled 6 Discipline Secrets to Help You Mature. You can download it right away from the description or the pinned comment below. Inside, you'll find powerful, practical insights to help you start making changes tonight. Don't miss this opportunity, because even one small habit can create a completely different future for you. Every journey of change begins with something deeply human, pain. It's rarely by chance that we decide to transform ourselves. Most often, it happens when we reach the limits of what we can endure, when our current life feels too small, too suffocating. It might be the shame you feel when you look in the mirror, the frustration of watching others succeed while you remain stuck, the sleepless nights filled with worries about money, relationships, or the future. Pain acts like a magnifying mirror, reflecting back everything we've been avoiding. And when it shows up, we have 2 ways to respond. The first way, blame. Blame the circumstances, the system, the people around us. I'm poor because of my family. I fail because society is unfair. I'm unhappy because no one understands me. Blame offers temporary relief, but it keeps us trapped in dissatisfaction. The second way, take responsibility. That's when we stop asking, why is life so unfair to me? And start asking, what can I do with the life I've been given? This shift, from victim to active agent, is the doorway to the next stage. I remember the first time I went through this stage. My grades dropped, my health declined, I had no money, no friends, and almost no self-confidence. For 2 years, I was stuck in a loop of helplessness. Until one day, it hit me. No matter how bad my life was, if I didn't act, no one else could do it for me. Maybe you've been there too. That moment when the discomfort you've been living with suddenly becomes unbearable. That's the signal. Pain isn't the enemy. It's the wake-up call. It's life whispering, it's time to change. So if you're feeling exhausted, stuck, or even broken, take a closer look. The pain you're experiencing today might be the very beginning of the journey you've never dared to take. The real question is, will you keep blaming? Or will you take responsibility and walk through that first door? Once your awareness shifts, you can't sit still anymore. A gap forms between who you are and who you want to be. And there's only one way to close that gap: action. This is when you enter the 3rd stage, effort. At this stage, you often feel full of motivation. You get excited about reading self-development books, exercising, eating healthier, and trying the things you've postponed for years. I still remember when I first began. Every morning, I told myself, today will be different. I bought a new notebook, wrote down plans, set early alarms, and enthusiastically carried them out. It felt like stepping into an entirely new life. And you know what? That feeling is powerful, because you actually see yourself taking action, making progress little by little. You begin to believe that you can truly change. But this is also when you're most vulnerable to the trap of unrealistic expectations. At the beginning, we often crave instant results. We want to lose weight in weeks, master a skill in days. And when the results don't come as fast as we hoped, discouragement sets in. Do you remember a time you excitedly started going to the gym, but your motivation faded after just a few weeks? Or bought stacks of books you never finished? That's the challenge of this stage. The truth is, all beginnings are hard, and ironically, when you're most excited is also when you need to be most cautious. Effort isn't about burning bright for a moment, it's about building a strong foundation. One example I love is Thomas Edison's journey. Before inventing the light bulb, he failed thousands of times. If he had relied only on early excitement, he would have quit long before. What made him different was his ability to sustain effort patiently, one step at a time. So in the effort stage, remember this: results don't come instantly. What matters is consistent action. No matter how small. Write 1 page a day. Walk for 15 minutes. Learn 10 new words. Small steps, compounded over time, create big breakthroughs. The question for you is this: are you willing to take small, steady steps instead of waiting for a giant leap? Because if you can get through this stage, you'll face the real test, the moment when motivation fades and fatigue sets in. After those first days of excitement, we hit a familiar curve. Motivation begins to fade. This is what many people call the valley of the journey, discouragement. You no longer feel the fire burning like you did at the start. Instead, you feel tired, unmotivated, maybe even doubtful of yourself. The good habits you just built start to break down, while the old ones quietly creep back in. This isn't your fault, it's how the brain works. Dopamine, the chemical behind excitement, can't stay high forever. After the initial surge, it returns to balance, and that's when the crash happens. Remember the last time you started learning a new skill? At first, you were obsessed, but just a few weeks in, you started making excuses, procrastinating, or simply not feeling it anymore. That's the valley we're talking about. I once quit learning guitar after just 2 months. At first, I practiced for hours, fingers bleeding but still excited. Then work got busy, motivation dipped, and I thought, maybe this just isn't for me. And I stopped. The most dangerous thought in this stage is, I'm not good enough. But in reality, this isn't proof of failure. It's simply a necessary part of the journey that everyone must pass through. Remember, motivation may help you start, but to go far, you'll need more. You'll need discipline and perseverance. Look at the journey of professional athletes. They can't rely on fleeting inspiration to train every day. There are mornings they don't want to get out of bed, yet they still do, because they know progress isn't about feelings, it's about consistent repetition. So if you're in a season of discouragement, ask yourself, am I willing to accept that this valley is a necessary part of the journey? If the answer is yes, then you're ready to step into the next stage, where discipline and perseverance become your true foundation. Once you've made it through the valley of discouragement, you'll realize something. Motivation is no longer what carries you forward. From here on, the true foundation of personal growth is discipline and perseverance. At this stage, you're no longer driven by bursts of inspiration. Instead, you learn to act even when you don't feel like it. You take a walk even when it rains. You write a page even when your mind is blank. You train even when your body feels exhausted. The magic is this: the more you sustain those small actions, the more they become a natural part of you. At first, reading for 15 minutes each night feels like a challenge. But after a few months, not reading feels incomplete. Our brains are capable of creating new neural loops. Every time you repeat a habit, it's like carving a small trail in your mind. Repeat it long enough, and that trail becomes the main road. Think back to when you first learned to ride a bike. At first, you wobbled, fell again and again, but through repetition, your body learned balance. Today, you can ride without even thinking. Discipline in self-growth works the same way. This is the longest and toughest stage. It may take you 3 months, 6 months, or even a year to notice visible changes. Yet it's here that the biggest transformations take place. I remember a friend who decided to run every morning. At first, he barely made it through 1 kilometer, gasping for air, ready to quit, but he kept going. 6 months later, he completed his first half marathon. That achievement didn't come from motivation, but from daily consistency. This stage also teaches you a crucial lesson. You don't always need to obsess over distant goals. Instead of stressing over, I need to lose 20 pounds, or I must read 100 books. Focus on today, do your best today, then repeat tomorrow. So the question is, are you willing to persevere even when no one is watching? No one is praising, and results haven't shown yet? Because if you can stay steady in this stage, you'll slowly become the upgraded version of yourself, and that's when you arrive at the final stage, achievement. After you've walked through pain, awareness, effort, discouragement, and discipline, you finally reach a special moment, realizing you change. This is the sixth stage, achievement. Achievement doesn't always come as a grand explosion. Sometimes, it's the quiet peace of looking in the mirror and seeing a stronger person. It's flipping through old journals and smiling at how far you've come. At this stage, you see clearly that goals which once felt impossible have now become reality. The struggles that once trapped you are now just memories. And the beautiful part? Other people can see the change in you too. Family and friends will feel proud. Loved ones will feel reassured. And those who once doubted you, they may envy you, or simply have to acknowledge the difference. But remember, achievement doesn't mean the end. It isn't the final stop in your self-growth journey. Life will always bring new challenges. And sometimes, those challenges will be bigger than the ones you've faced before. Personal growth is like an upward spiral. Each time you overcome a challenge, you begin a new cycle, perhaps with different pain, fresh awareness, renewed effort, but every loop lifts you higher, makes you stronger, steadier. A clear example is J.K. Rowling. After achieving massive success with Harry Potter, her life didn't become challenge-free. She faced the pressures of fame, public controversies, and even new failures. Yet with the resilience she built, she kept going, continuing to write, to create. So real achievement isn't about reaching some ultimate destination. It's about realizing who you've become along the way. You're no longer the fragile, confused person you once were. You're a stronger, more valuable version of yourself. And here's the final question for you. Once you've tasted your first achievements, will you stop, or will you step into the next spiral of growth? Because life will never stop testing you, and you will never stop having opportunities to evolve. And so, we've walked together through the 6 stages of personal growth, from pain, awareness, effort, discouragement, discipline, all the way to achievement. Each stage carries its own challenges, but within each lies the opportunity to become stronger. Personal growth isn't a race to some finish line. It's an endless journey, an upward spiral that lifts you higher each time you dare to face your struggles. Maybe today you're still in the stage of pain, or struggling in the valley of discouragement. But believe this, if you keep going, if you stay persistent, you'll eventually reach the moment when you realize you've changed. And when that moment comes, you'll see that every effort, every drop of sweat, even every tear, was worth it. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe to Different Thinking today. And as a thank you, I prepared a special gift just for you. A free ebook titled 6 Discipline Secrets to Help You Mature. You can download it right now in the description or the pinned comment below. Inside are practical insights to help you start changing tonight. Don't miss this chance, because even one small habit can shape an entirely different future. And if you'd like to continue this journey, click the playlist link in the description to watch the full video series.